Hello there. Hello there. Alright, let's play Katya Dawnwing Personal Story. Ink black, neither seen nor known. It was an ordinary day of the vacation. I was alone in the command room, processing documents related to the Heimdall operatives. Suddenly, the familiar buzz of my calm terminal broke my concentration. Expecting a routine checkup reminder or something equally mundane, I casually tapped on a message from the medical department, but instead it was a short request for me to head to the medical bay immediately. A vague sense of unease crept in me as I set aside the documents and made my way out of the command room. Katya's gone blind? It was actually me. What? Katya has gone blind? What's happening? The moment I stepped into the medical bay, the medical officer's first word hit me like a ton of bricks, leaving me wide-eyed. Past the officers in the white coat, I glanced toward the back of the room, behind the glass partition. Katya lay quietly on the bed, her head encased in a massive diagnostic machine, only the tips of her blue hair picked out, draping over either side. She had seemed perfectly fine throughout the entire vacation. What's going on? Explain it to me. The exact cause is still unclear, but we confirm it's related to her optic nerves. We believe there's some kind of conflict between Katya's fragmented physiology and her new Dawnwing exosuit. As you know, she never underwent a full theotropic nerve graft. If it's a nerves issue, can't the company fix it quickly? That's true, but we'd recommend waiting for Director Tao's return before performing any surgery. Until then, Katya will stay here to observe. Should be to be observed. Right, Tao wasn't here. Shortly after we got back from New Hantiro, she hurriedly boarded a plane. Every year around the same time, Tao would leave the company for a few days under escort, supposedly for a vacation at an undisclosed location. But I knew the truth. She took these trips for vital life-extending treatments. Judging by the timing, she wouldn't be back for another 2 days, which meant creak. As I mulled over my next move, a creaking sound made me look up. Katya has put aside the diagnostic machine and now sitting at the edge of the bed, looking at me with her head tilted. To be precise, she was simply facing the doorway where I stood. Her eyes were open, but they were blank, devoid of light, utterly unseeing. Oh no. I opened the door and approached her slowly. When I was only a few steps away, she suddenly spread her arms and gave me a smile. Pull her. I wrapped my arms around her, gently brushing my fingers across her brow. Take me outside. No can do. You're still in the medical care. It's just temporary blindness, no big deal for me. She huffed in frustration, pushing me away as she strode towards the door as if to prove she was still as capable as ever. Wait. She barely made a few steps before walking straight into a half-open glass door. See what I mean? I carried Katya back to the bed. She bit her lips, silently brooding, clearly frustrated by a setback. Normally this woman was headstrong and stubborn to a fault, but seeing her like this, so vulnerable, struck a different chord in me. I knew her well enough to realize that being stuck in a medical bay for 3 days would be absolute torture for her. Shaking my head at the thought, I glanced at the medical officer standing by the door. How about this? I'll take care of her for the next few days. If there's any medication or treatment she needs, just let me know. If that's the arrangement you prefer, then alright. Please be careful. Breathing heavily. On the way back, I walked slowly with Katya, her hand in mine. She was unusually quiet, and her breathing was heavier than usual. What's on your mind? Nothing. Don't worry, I'll make sure the doors in the company are replaced with automatic ones. Smartass. Despite her sharp response, a laugh escaped. I was just thinking, in this state, even if you flirted with someone else right in front of me, I wouldn't know. It's pretty frustrating. I wouldn't do that to you. But who knows about them? The medical team still hasn't figured out what's the exact cause of the blindness. Any ideas? How would I know? You're the expert on traffic nerves, not me. I do have a few theories. I slowed my pace, thinking through my memories. If it happened when I wasn't around to keep an eye on you, it must have been just before the vacation. You were still in New Hantero when Vidya and I were making that movie, and you came back before we did. During that gap, what else did you do besides blasting rock music? Nothing. Unlike her usual evasive responses, Katya's answer was firm and immediate this time. I was almost certain she was hiding something from me. Anyway, whatever the cause, I'll be fine in a few days. That's all that really matters. Instead of fussing over insignificant details, I'm more curious about where my navigator plans to take me now. Back to your room, I think. No sooner had the words left my mouth than I felt her hands twitch in mine. Her hands always felt slippery, like she could slip away from my grasp at any moment. That's why I developed the habit of interlocking our fingers whenever I held her hand. What's the matter? Nothing, it's just... Suddenly she leaned in close, her warm breath tickling my ears like a fragrant breeze. Now that I think about it, having you all to myself for 3 days doesn't sound bad at all. I wanted to say something, but the familiar stares burning into my back since we had left the medical bay made me hesitate. I couldn't help but envy Katya's blissful ignorance of our surroundings. Crimson, going tit for tat. 8:40 a.m. The Jatun walks into the canteen. As usual, he orders the standard workday breakfast: coffee, fried eggs, toast, extra sugar in his coffee. He lifts the spoon, his arm forming a perfect angle. What are you filming? Ah. The unexpected voice from behind startled Vidya, who was crouched behind a potted plant. Her fingers slipped, almost dropping the camera on the floor. Thankfully, the person behind her reacted quickly, catching the expensive delicate device at the last moment. Oops, sorry, didn't mean to spook you. Oh, it was Tess. Tess? How do you manage to move so quietly like a ghost? Vidya pressed her hand to her chest, still shaken, as she retrieved her camera from Tess. Were you filming the Jatun? Tess ignored Vidya's question, squinting in the direction Vidya had aimed her lens. Yeah. Wait a second. Is that Miss Katya over there? When did she join the Jatun? So it's true you only has eyes for the Jatun. Katya's been tagging along with him since Vidya walked in. Seriously? Wait, does that mean something happened between them right under my nose and I didn't even notice? The imagination is a little too wild. Technically, it was the Jatun who brought Katya along. Chanxing, you've been hiding here too? It was just a coincidence. Focus, girls. The Jatun's been with Katya since yesterday. Chanxing, you know the reason, don't you? I heard Katya suddenly lost her sight. She's waiting for Director Tao to return for surgery, and the Jatun offered to take care of her in the meantime. Heard? That sounds a little too specific to just be hearsay, Chanxing, Tess thought. But though, she kept her usual smile. Well, if that's the case, we should go check on Katya. You know, make sure she's doing okay. Check on her? Like, figure out if she's really blind. I mean, if she can actually see, doing something to the Jatun would definitely get a reaction, right? I'm not following. That sounds like a solid plan, actually. Great. So, Vidya, you're in, right? I had, of course, noticed the trio whispering from across the room. The moment I stepped into the canteen, that unsettling feeling of being watched had struck me, and it turned out I wasn't paranoid. As soon as Katya and I sat down, I spotted the three manifestations eyeing us like hawks. Now I watched them tiptoe closer, only to quietly take seats across from Katya and me without a word. I had a bad feeling about this. I smell fried eggs, this. Just a second, I'll cut a piece for you. Ignoring the burning stares from across the table, I speared a piece of egg with my fork and brought it toward Katya's mouth. Like that. Nom. Out of nowhere, a swift red blur darted in front of me. Tess had leaned across the table, chomping down the egg mid-air before I could even react. Then in one fluid motion, she swiped the fork from my hand, leaving me staring at her white, innocent eyes. That music. And froze mid-air as Vidya and Chenxing gasped in unison. What happened? Nothing. The egg just slipped. I'll cut another piece. It was clear to me now they were testing Katya. Encouraged by a little victory, Tess winked at Chenxing and Vidya. Although they looked a little bit bewildered, they nodded in agreement, thanking me from either side. By the time I grabbed new fork and cut another piece of egg, they had already positioned themselves behind me. I was trying to predict our next move when suddenly everything went dark. Cool and soft, a faint stain of ink, and mistakably, Chenxing's hand covering my eyes. Huh, straight to the point, huh? Wait, what was the description again? Cool and soft, with a faint scent of ink. Listening closely, I could hear Chenxing's quick, uneven breathing behind me. Such a bold move must have made her nervous. I calmly shifted the fork to my left hand, mentally gauged her height and position, and swiftly reached back with my right hand. Ah! A delicate yelp followed, quickly muffled as if someone had clamped a hand over her mouth, and the hand over my eyes disappeared. Nailed it. I must have found her ticklish spot. Seizing the moment as my vision cleared, I quickly retracted my right hand to steady Katya's chin, and with my left slipped the piece of fried egg into her mouth before Tess could react. Is this how you usually feed people? Just shove it in like that? That depends. I raised an eyebrow at Tess, letting her know her score had been even. Looking back, Chenxing and Vidya had already bolted. Tess, apparently not interested in continuing the battle alone, flashed me a smile and gracefully slipped out of her chair, disappearing from the canteen. I can't believe that. Is that so? It seems to me that you were having a lot of fun. You knew they were there from the start, didn't you? With all the noise those two made, how could I not? Those two? Wait, so I think Tess is the only one that's not making noise, I guess? Your flair for drama and mischief hasn't dulled a bit. Suddenly, she reached out, her hand fumbling for a moment before tightly grasping mine. After all, someone once asked, how do you intend to navigate your own path in relationships? She tilted her head towards me. Towards, right? A familiar faint smile curling at the corners of her lips. I think I've done enough for my relationship with the girls. Now it's time to make space for us. How about keeping me company while I sort out some paperwork in my office? Huh? She dragged out of the word, making her discontent clear. Something like that. Honestly, I've had enough of just sitting around these past 2 days. Why don't we head to the training ground and shake things up a bit? Don't you remember what the medical staff said? They said, take good care of Katya and indulge her every whim. Don't put words in their mouth. They told you to rest, and besides, how are you supposed to train in your current condition? Easy, you give me the directions and I pull the trigger. Relax, those training dummies won't be able to lay scratch on me. It's once in a lifetime chance for me to follow your every command, Mr. Navigator. Are you sure you want to miss out on that? Katya's fingers gently traced the inside of my palm, coaxing me with soft but persistent strokes. Nice try, though I'm not buying that. I scooped Katya up in my arms and made my way to the training ground. I have to admit, I'm a little intrigued. Chenxing, why are you so ticklish? If I hadn't covered your mouth, we would have definitely been busted. Chenxing so ticklish. Just outside the canteen, Vidya and Chenxing stood panting, still shaken from the close call. That was beyond my control. You always act so cool and distant, but when Jet is around, you're just... very off to Tess. Going out on a mission. Should take about 3 days. Tess looked back over her shoulder, catching a smile at the still flustered Vidya and Chenxing. We have verified what we needed to. Oh, okay. We verified what we needed to. Now, let's leave the Ajat to his business. I don't think there's any story here, right? Yeah, okay, no story. Deep blue, fade away and move beyond. 10 o'clock to medium-sized targets. On the training ground, Katya and I stood side by side, fending off enemies coming at us from all directions. To minimize her exertion, I carried her from cover to cover between enemy waves, allowing her brief respites before the next onslaught. All enemies neutralized, the next wave will arrive in 3 minutes. You exit through the right to end training. Do you feel up for another round? Do you feel up for Do you feel up for another round? Do you feel up for another round? I slowly released Katya's hand. Throughout our battle, our palms had been tightly clasped, now slick with sweat. Normally, this level of challenge would be a breeze for her, but in current condition, even with my help, she was burning through far more energy than just usual to aim and dodge. Let's do one more round. She brushes aside a few strands of loose hair and held out her hand to me again. I want to test the limits of this exosuit while I've got the chance. 12 o'clock, 45 degrees high, 2 targets in the air. By the slight tremor in her wrist threw off her aim, both bullets veered off course and missed. This wave consisted mostly of flying drones, making it even harder for her. The drones were equipped with small energy beams that wouldn't cause real harm, but could briefly paralyze muscle, simulating an injury. Worse still, every minor slip-up spawned more drones in the next wave, so the number of drones multiplied, blanketing the training ground like a swarm of angry bees. As I debated whether or not to step in to ease her burden, I suddenly felt a surge of power through my hand. It quickly dawned on me that it was our physical contact that allowed me to feel the strategy course widely through her body. Hey, it's just training, let's not get too carried out. Catch me again this time, please. Before I could respond, I felt her hand vanishing from my grasp. She was gone in an instant, only to reappear, several meters directly above me, high in the air. Just as she began to fall, she vanished again, only to appear even higher, over and over. She defied gravity, breaking through the drone's encirclement and hovering above all the targets. Her blue wings unfurled fully, making her look like an avenging angel, poised to deliver divine retribution. And that's exactly what transpired. Her wings morphed into arrows, and with a barrage of rifle fire, and her wild laughter echoing, he obliterated every target in the flesh. But as the final strike landed, the energy drained from her body. Arms limp, she began to fall like a leaf caught in the wind. This woman's insane. Catch her. I leaped up, catching her mid-air. Her forehead was beaded with sweat. Her cheeks flushed. She gasped for breath like someone who had narrowly escaped drowning. The physical toll of repeated shifting into a fragmented form, especially with such critical maneuvers, was immense. I had never seen her try something like this before. That carefree, almost goofy chuckle was new too. Come on, lighten up. I told you I wanted to test the limits of this exosuit. She wriggled free of my grasp and gently ran her hand across my furrowed brow. You didn't have to push it that far. It almost looks like you were planning to go down with those drones. If this were real combat, it would have been a last-ditch move for sure. If this were a real combat, I wouldn't let it come to that. You don't have to play tough in front of me. Oh, and I discovered a bonus while trying out that new move. What was it? Just as I thought, when I couldn't see, I wasn't afraid of height anymore. Oh yeah, true. She is afraid of heights. When I was falling and you caught me, I felt a rare sense of relief. Maybe all this time it's not the height I feared, but the sudden rush of uncertainty and emptiness that comes with them. Katya exhaled softly in my arms, her warm breath tickling my skin. You didn't blind yourself just to test that theory, did you? Ow! Before I could finish, Katya gave my arm a fierce pinch, making me wince. What kind of crazy talk is that? If that's the plan, I could have just blindfolded myself. Still, reckless stun like that seems more your style. Other than that, I can't think of any reason why you went blind. She fell silent for a moment. If you really want to know, just go to my room. Huh? In my room, the second drawer of my desk. Her voice grew softer, trailing off into sleepy mumbling. Sleepy mumbling. Take me back, and don't dare make fun of me. The last one, golden hue, an ode to her and the setting sun. So what you're saying is, I confused with the exosuit like they do, right? Affirmative. Wait, I confused with what? Exosuit. As Katya left the realm, Genga's word echoed in her mind. While she had braced herself for this outcome, a part of her had clung to a glimmer of hope until the very last moment. After all, she had stayed in New Hampshire for so long, waiting day after day for Genghis to reboot, just to get his answer. Not being able to gain stronger powers as Life and Fanny did. Huh, just like the Valkyrie games all over again. They became superstars, but I got knocked in the qualifiers. Ooh. Hmm. I feel sad for her. How disappointing. Over time, that sting of defeat had faded, leaving behind only a sense of unspeakable regret, as if she were just a spectator to her own failure. Now, not only that those two had become stronger, but this had even surpassed the manifestation. How could she possibly stay by his side if she could never grow stronger? This thought almost made her scoff at herself. In the past, she would have walked away without a second thought. Nothing had ever held her back before, but now, just the thought of T's face and the anguish that had crossed it during this moment of crisis tore at her heart. After a long silence, she unclashed her fist, lifted her head, resolved to step back into the realm once more. After all, she was Katya Klein, a Heimdall operative. The Ejatin would never give up on her, so neither would she. Even if the supercomputer couldn't find a solution, she would. She had to. Inside Katya's room, a thick stack of drawings filled one of her desk drawers. They were the schematic of a new exosuit Dawnwing. From rough sketches that were little more than doodles to fully detailed concept drawings of each module, right down to the final proofing with precise specification. Not to mention the scrap draft, adding up to hundreds of pages, each marked with frantic scribbled notes. Need to enhance the ability for continuous shift into the fragmented form. If possible, I'd like to test it with these alongside me. Increase short-term power output. It will mean a longer recovery period, but with him around, it will be manageable. Kind of design, not a necessary element, but he seems to like it. Okay. Uh, and an emergency signaling at in. After all, Katya, after all, Katya, you're not on your own anymore. Every note in some way connected to me. I turned to Katya, fast asleep on the bed. Oh, we are in her room and looking at her note. That's what's happening. Okay, got it. I turned to Katya, fast asleep on the bed, completely drained. I couldn't help but reach out and gently stroke the tips of her hair. There was no way she could have finished all these schematics in just a few days we spent in New Hentero. Remembered what Cyrus had told me in the realm of the Top of Hanoi was designed to enhance the efficiency of learning and training. Katya must have asked Genghis to put her in an immersive experience state so she could finish this design before we left. That's why the exosuit fit her so perfectly. But it was also because this additional design had pushed her physical limits so far that they ultimately damaged her optic nerves. Stubborn as ever, once she set her mind on something, she follows through no matter what. Ah, she's becoming more and more like me. The next day, wait. Once she sets her mind on something, she follows through no matter what. Right. The next day, as the door of the operating room slid open, Tao and the medical officer emerged one after the other. I immediately rose from my seat in the hallway and approached them. Director Tao, how did everything go? It went well. It was just a minor procedure, something even an AI could handle without any complication. Good. That's a relief. Just make sure to keep a closer eye next time someone decides to tweak the exosuit on their own. Blah, on their own. Uh, understood. With a parting grumble, Tao shook her head and headed to the direction of her office. She had only taken a few steps when she paused and glanced back at the operating room door, muttering to herself, I don't remember that door being automatic before. When I entered Katya's hospital room, she had just woken up. Her vivid blue eyes immediately locked into mine, and for the first time in several days, our gazes truly connected. I sat beside her and leaned in close. She smiled, gently cradling my face, her fingers tracing the contours of my cheeks. Long time no see, darling. Long time no see, Katya. Funny, it was just a short surgery, but it feels like I've been asleep for ages. She rubbed her eyes and let out a yawn she couldn't hold back. You saw the schematics, didn't you? I did. Honestly, I had no idea you were such a good sketch artist, though your handwriting could use some work. Didn't I tell you not to make fun of me? I'm not making fun of you. It always brightens my day when I see your adorable side. I wouldn't mind hearing that more often, you know. Well, I know my little monopoly on you is over, but can you do one more thing with me, please? No parachute skydiving? No parachute skydiving? I definitely didn't expect Katya to make that kind of request. Yeah. No parachute skydiving is an extreme sport where you jump from high altitude without any parachute, relying solely on safety. What? Really? Is that even a real? Is that even a thing? I need to Google that after this. Relying solely on a safety net near the ground to break the fall. For Katya, it would be like asking a toddler who had just learned to walk to run a marathon. Looking out the airplane window, it appeared we had reached an altitude of 6,000 meters above Holt. Wait, 6,000 meters. Usually, plane fly about 40,000 feet. Well, 35,000 feet. 35,000 feet is around 10 kilometers, right? So this is, yeah, almost as high. I mean, like half of what commercial airline fly at. But 6,000 meters is still really high. Like Burj Khalifa is 868 meters. So this is like 6 times the height of Burj Khalifa. Actually, even more. What? 8 times the height of Burj Khalifa. Anyway, Katya was staring intently outside, only turning her gaze away when she heard my question. Before the qualifier match, I spent a long time convincing my parents to promise that if I won, they would let me travel alone. I made a long list of all the things they didn't want me to do: skydiving, archery, skiing, going to rock concerts. She turned to look at me. It's been 10 years, and there's only one thing left on that list. I want to make it special as a commemoration. So please, wait with me, please. Respond to her. Let's do this. I promise that I'll never let you go through anything alone again. The cabin door slowly slid open, and a powerful gust of wind rushed in. Hand in hand, Katya and I stepped to the edge of the cabin and exchanged a kiss on each other's cheek. And then we leaped into the open sky. Hey, cool. The rush of free fall churned my stomach as if my insides were being pulled out, while my goggles shielded my eyes from the rushing wind. She doesn't even need a goggle. Allowing me to catch a faint glimpse of the horizon. A strange thought crossed my mind. The sun, like me, seems to be plummeting uncontrollably towards the sea, losing its light as it descended. So this was what no parachute skydiving felt like. Unlike regular skydiving, the primal survival instinct sharpened my senses. In front of me, Kaya looked more radiant than ever. She said something, but the roar of the wind drowned her out. Let's have a look at the illustration. Then, blue wings unfurled behind her, blocking out the sky and seemingly freezing time itself. Suddenly, I felt my hand firmly grasp mine. Her hands firmly grasped mine, our fingers intertwining. Hold on to me, please. Wow, we got a lot of illustration here. How cool is that? I was not expecting this much illustration. It's very cool. Hold me tight, darling. Despite the roaring wind, Katya's voice came through somehow, echoing clearly in my mind. Bathed in golden glow of the setting sun, she gently pressed her forehead against mine. The warmth of her skin pushed back against the cool air, seeping deep into my consciousness. And with that touch came her thoughts and feelings. Just like that time in the Yaharu's bunker, when she fused her mind with mine, our consciousness became one again. Oh yeah, I remember that time. But this time, there was no discomfort, no stickiness or lag. My mind flowed freely into hers, observing everything with absolute clarity. I'm so happy. I heard a voice in my head, and with it came a surge of joy, as if it were my own. A surge of joy. That sounds awesome. This method of communication, far more intimate and efficient than words, was almost addictive. We explored each other's mind tirelessly, losing ourselves in the moment, forgetting we were falling from the sky. Should be falling in the sky. From the sky, in the sky. The intense love flowing between us made time and space irrelevant. In the vast expanse of the sky, there was no longer any room for conflicts, betrayals, or looming dangers. All that remained was the two of us, locked in each other's embrace. I don't know how much time passed before a sudden jolt of resistance hit my back. The long, weightless fall came to an abrupt stop as we landed safely in the net just a few dozen meters above the ground. I slowly opened my eyes, and just inches away, Katya's tear-filled eyes met mine, her gaze as deep and still as a tranquil lake. I reached out to wipe away her tears, but before I could, she burst into sobs like a child. After a decade-long free fall, she was finally safe in my arms, back on the land that welcomed her, and that she was now ready to fully embrace. Cool. Right, that's it. The personal file story for Dawnwing. That's pretty cool. I like that they have quite a lot of illustration, especially the last one. It was a nice one. Right, hope you guys have a wonderful day. Bye bye. Ta-ra.